Dom, you're going to perform for us Mr. Wiggly. Do we call you Mr. Wiggly? Yeah. Mr. Wiggly, you have your YouTube show.
I do. On Sundays on Mr. Wiggly, if you go to Mr. Wiggly on YouTube, search it up, we do a light-hearted Sunday, and then a more serious Wednesday. But if you fancy a bit of entertainment, I cook up to the YouTube channel, and just search Mr. Wiggly, M.R. Wiggly, and that's me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wiggly.
Call that a kick drum? That ain't no kick drum. No. That's no kick drum. That's a kick drum. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbours running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you've ever thought of doing until the blade burnt threats into your neck. And even when you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an empty airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you would not be going back. You have to understand that no one would put their child in a boat unless the sea is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles travelled means something more than the journey. No one crawls under fences, wants to be beaten, wants to be pitted. No one chooses refugee camps or strip searches where your body is left aching. Or prison, because prison is safer than a city of fire, and one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one's skin would be tough enough. The go-home refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry, standing with their hands out. They smell strange, savage, messed up their country, and now they want to mess ours up. How do the words, the dirty looks roll off your backs? Maybe it's because the blow is softer than a limb torn off, or the words are more tender than 14 men between your legs, or the insults are easier to swallow than rubble, than bone, than your child's body in pieces. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark, home is the barrel of a gun, and no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore, unless home told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, drown, save, be hungry, beg, forget pride, your survival is more important. No one leaves home unless home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave. Run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. Anywhere is safer than here. Thank you so much. I was meant to have a huge ending, and I screwed up the ending, but the middle bit came out well, though, so thank you so much. And a big thank you to Nick and everyone at Sonicstate for doing such an amazing job. If you could see what it's like back here, it's like a film set. It's incredible what they've done. So can we have another huge round of applause for Nick and the team, please?
Dom, you've just performed at the very first Sonic EMOM event. Did you enjoy it?
It was amazing, honestly. I've got my surfboard of kit here. No, it was really good. What an amazing PA as well.
So, look at this. I've never seen this before. A bunch of music technology mounted to a snowboard. It's a snowboard?
It is a snowboard. I mean, basically, I was thinking about getting the flight case, and I suddenly thought, that snowboard you haven't used for the last 20 years, because I twisted my knee.
Oh no!
It's time to come out of the cupboard and just Velcro everything onto it. So
that's amazing! So you twisted your knee and all that kind of grief of like, and now you found the most beautiful use of it.
All I'm looking for now is a big snowboard case, because they make them to make like 3 or 4 boards, and it will cover the kit as well.
Amazing! And actually, it's very clever, because people are taking snowboards on the planes all the time.
Exactly. Mine's just a sort of electronic snowboard. So
yeah, I like it.
No, I had an amazing time. It's been a brilliant show. You've done a great job. Nick's done an amazing job.
Oh.
Just a fantastic time, really.
So, now, as a man who has lots of equipment at home, why did you choose these particular bits of kit?
Well, I went round the houses. It started off as a modular, inspired by your modular sessions. I thought I can do this. And I just got worried about knocking the tuning out. I know it sounds stupid, but one knock of a tiny little knob and it's going out of tune. So I thought, no. So then I was going to do it on a deluge, because you can get it all out of the one box. And I thought that might be a bit boring to watch. So then I thought, well, I'll use this analog 4 for synths. Then you need a mixing desk, and it all gets so complicated. Anyway, so Octatrack acts as a mixing desk. That gives me some synth sounds. That has a few little hi-hats and some extra bits that I needed at the bottom. And this just allows me to kind of fiddle with whatever's going on in here, so it gives me an extra control. So controllable, but basically kind of like not too complicated for me.
But the Fader Foxes are only dealing with the Octatrack. It's not acting as a master
doing
mixer.
A little bit on here, but there's enough knobs here to do the major bits. So this was fine, 3 different synth sounds, but I was able to flip between them and do cut-off and stuff.
Okay.
So fundamentally, this is just altering. I got high pass, low pass, echo sends, that kind of stuff that's going on. Loops in here.
So when we talked before you played, then you saying that you haven't played for 20 years.
Yeah, literally on stage.
So the first
it's the first time. I mean, I started life as a live keyboard player, so it was back with Boy George.
Playing live many times.
You know, loads of live gigs, and that was my kind of job, really. I mean, it was so much fun. And then I kind of just moved into the studio and locked myself away. So I was a session keyboard player, but it was always with a quantize button and a racket hit in some brilliant studios, making some great records, but not live. You know, so it's quite difficult really to get my head around it from scratch, but a really good kind of thing to go through. So I think I forgot how much fun it was.
So, like in a kind of post-match analysis kind of way, what did you think worked and what didn't work so well tonight?
Everything worked really well apart from the ending, and it was like I knew this was going to happen because basically I've only had the analog 4 a couple of weeks, and I sort of learned my way through it. I thought the best way to learn some of this stuff is to do a tune rather than sit down with a book or whatever or YouTube. And it all kind of went according to plan, but I'd only ever planned kind of half the sets, and I thought I'll go a bit more wacky after that. And I kind of lost my way a little bit, and then realised there was no way out. So I thought if I hit the stop button, there might be a nice bloom of reverb, but sadly it wasn't to be. But by that stage, it's done anyway.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. So I mean, it's quite. I mean, people are going to look at this and see it as a very electron kind of heavy kind of set.
Yes, it's true.
Why is that then, do you think?
It's weird, isn't it? Because I'm not a majorly electron fanboy or whatever, but I think this unit, the Octatrack, is a mixer. It's got 2 stereo, 4 mono inputs. You can literally plug everything through it. You don't need to carry another mixer around. And you can fly in effects, you can do all sorts of stuff. And I know it doesn't seem much to have a little mixer up on the side, but the ability to automate that and have that as a central box.
Okay.
This was just something I wanted to try out, and it just happens to be electron. And I have to say, it sounds really beefy, but this is the key. The trouble with it for me is that my mind some other people have said this as well. If I don't use it for a couple of weeks and I come back to it again,
Yeah.
I've forgotten how to use it.
That's the Electron thing.
It's my mind.
Yeah, no, well.
But it's insanely brilliant
Yeah.
once you're in that mode, and as long as you don't do anything else and you just
Okay.
work Electron, then that's the way to go.
Great. So the Fader Fox then was, you were saying that was using as a MIDI controller mostly for the Octatrack.
Mostly for that, but it throws into there. So I had a couple of effects sends to go. So with this, you've got 4 synths in it that you can select with the 4 buttons. So if you go, okay, synth number 2, I want to play with the filter, you can do it really easily. And you also have a little keyboard if you want to play. But if you want to go to something a bit more deeper in the menu, like chorus settings or effects, it's too much to jump around, so I can map that directly to one of these, which is cool.
Clever.
It's nice. I mean, they're really nice things. I know it's just a big box of knobs, but it's really useful for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, amazing. And on this beautiful snowboard as well.
Exactly.
Everything together. Dom, thank you so much. Thank you for performing. Beautiful performance.
Thank you.